Oh, you're.
Yeah.
And I was, it was like he was speaking Spanish. I couldn't understand what he was talking.
It's actually that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, those little good
music goes.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I just.
Because they only.
And, so. Yeah. You know, it's like, I do my.
Yeah.
I like.
Tonight, our topic is metalworking for the woodworkers. Covering a couple different topics: equipment, projects, kind of material, where you can source material. See what helps you all out. Now we've said this a couple times today again. You know, we're looking for people. You know, this is kind of like a club. It's social, so you know we're trying to get members that want to come up and talk about something. You don't have to carry a whole meeting, but if you want to talk about something for 15, we can set up a topic and you just got started. Normally we're pretty good at
We'll
talking.
ramble.
Yeah, everybody in here can ramble about something once we get started. So, you know, that's not really the problem. We need somebody to start it off, talk about it. So if you got a topic, think you can do that for. Then, you know, talk to somebody on the board or send an email to the board online, something like that. Yeah, you don't have to carry the whole meeting, you just gotta start it out.
If you have a topic you want to talk about, great.
Yeah.
If you have something you think would be interesting that you did, great. If you have mistakes you made, great. You blame Steve.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
So, anyway, got anybody new tonight? All right, why don't you tell us a little bit how you found out about us, what got you interested?
My name's Joe. I actually have, I don't remember how I talked about. It's been a couple months on the mailing list, but yeah, I started woodworking over the pandemic. That was my hobby. It's kind of on hold right now because I can figure out how to handle dust. Yeah.
Read that.
Most everybody's been there, yeah.
And yeah, good to be here.
I did it in an apartment.
Really?
Yeah. I
Neighbors didn't like it.
Oh, they didn't care. It was a basement apartment. It was like a townhouse. So what I did is we actually got in trouble after like 4 years because the fire department did like safety inspections, so that was our problem. And they're like, yeah, you just need to protect it from getting to the furnace. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's, I mean, it's fair, right? It's a very fair thing. To be fair, you need a lot of sawdust to have combustion. But anyway, I just did zip wall. Have you ever heard of zip wall? No. All right, so there are these poles that like you twist to extend, and then there's like a springy bit at the top, and you use plastic sheeting,
Like shower curtain.
yeah, yeah. You just go by like the plastic sheet, and they make it's called zipper because they're zipper doors. It's meant so that way if you're like doing drywall to protect the house, you don't have to get drywall dust everywhere, which always happens. But yeah, I did that, and then I used some like 2x4 to put the ceiling.
That's good because the furnace is specifically the problem.
Yeah, and the zip wall is really nice because then you can like scooch it over a little bit, and you're like, that's it. I mean, it's all really plastic sheeting. You're just moving over. All right. It was cheap. We are glad you came.
Yeah, no, all right.
Go.
He's already got his money.
And then I also got an air scrubber to help too, because that was the other problem. Is like, you know, the zip wall handles a lot of it, and then carpets from IKEA, like cheap one. You layer that by the door where you go into your workshop, because then you don't track that with. Yeah, that was the other key thing. But then you get an air scrubber because the fine dust will like linger throughout the house. Yeah. It'll get through the little cracks.
So one thing I use a lot, is get a $20 box fan
Oh yeah.
and put a apple filter on one side of it, and it just goes together.
Yeah, I got one of those mechanical timer things. You might see in like a hotel bathroom, you know, like they sell those. Those are really cheap. Because then I didn't want like this one. It's great because I just turn that and that turns on my air scrubber. I got a great deal on the air scrubber. I found that crazy. Like $50. I was still.
No. My name's Eric. The fire team for two. Dad was so 3 Science, and, he died and retired, and now I can't ask him any questions, that those genes just sort of.
Surfaced.
I didn't sort of look at it. Right. Cool. Yeah. My phone is like. Now, I think self-taught and all is kind of interesting, but I think that the day and age of any kind of education, workshop, or anything that's after high school that does woodshop, it's kind of gone away. And the only time you can, there are places like Mark Adams that you go doing that, but that's for 1 week, and you know, you gotta be pretty, not inexpensive, you know. But, so, you know, I think a lot of people would end up with. We're taking some class from the spirit, but we won't be taking classes that have Sam Woodward. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah. You remember that. Classes. Was he at? Luke? Yeah. I've never had a class for him, but I've engaged with them. I entered, you know. They added a number of, instructors, yeah, they're kind of like, they're way more courses than right. All right, anybody got show and tell, Steve? Makeworks. Oh, yeah. I work here. There's somebody now. We'll kind of sell that. There's also a discount code, 25% off our classes. September, there's a camp shop box. So it's a free class. You can sign up for it online, but so.
And a ShopBot is a CNC router, very, very useful for woodworking.
Now, I went to a camp shop bot a decade ago at a different facility. This is like a whiz bang thing to go to. They bring a lot of stuff, you know, to there, and it's just like a big candy store, you know, and basically all about wood, you know, and no, it's great. I'm just kind of. Last one I went to took a lot of work. Thank you. Okay. Go Dell. Anybody have anything? I got something. Sometimes you shouldn't leave your computer on, right? Anyway. I was looking for a hand plate, and I found this, and it's sold by Tersa, yeah, you know, and it's made in Switzerland or Sweden, so it's pretty darn slick. And I said, well, it makes sense right out of the box. I was doing caving, you know. Right, yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. So the key thing about it is that it doesn't have a normal blade. It has what look like double-edged razor blades sit down in a special fixture. Your height adjustment is right here. It stays parallel to the bottom of the plane, so you don't have the whole thing with blades and kind of turn, twist. it's probably as easy as can be to adjust the nut. Anyway, and they're not that,
How
I think,
expensive?
I think this was like $40. So, and then I bought an extra thing of blades. Which is another. And then. And they have different sizes. I actually tried it. I'll pass that. I'll put the pass it around, but they have different sizes, and I kind of tried doing some rough sawn wood, and yeah, it's smaller than that. But they have other sizes.
So is that like their block plane then?
Yeah, little mini block.
Those are the blades I have on my equipment. Yeah, the planer.
And the
Oh, like
blades,
they're like person. Oh, that's cool.
Same blades. Miners.
You could like.
and the blades.
You could tell-
Just
tell-
cut them
tell
up,
them.
give it to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh, no, maybe they're not the same.
well, they're a fit back, okay, I think,
No, they're not the same.
well, no, the holes are so that when you flip it open, you can't screw it up, I can't screw it up. I mean, there's not a steep mistake in this one.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
Yes.
hey,
I like it.
and you flip them over because they're double sided, so.
They also, they make evidently both carbide as well as broken steel plate.
Yeah, I don't know, I got the medium blade, I don't know that. Anyway, like I said, this is like right out of the box, that's pretty cool. Yeah, getting a shaving that's. So,
Trying to see. Here, that's what a tersa blade looks. Can you see the screen? That's what a tersa blade looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
But they also sell, the Rally template.
Well, that's it. Under reduced, yeah.
Oh, there's no chatter. No. The key is the angle of attack. The heads are super big. So you can't do a tersa on a small head. The heads have to be like 6 inches diameter. So then the angle of the blade relative to that gives it a scrape. And yeah, there's no chatter. It cuts exceptionally well. Here you go. There they are.
Yeah, so they got different sizes.
How much do you're so cheap?
I don't know. I know it's only like.
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Yeah,
It's like
but
$5 US.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, there it
Here's
is.
mine, here's mine, down here, it's on the bottom.
Canadian.
Canadian.
Wait. 58.
58. It must have gone up a little bit, but anyway, for a hand, Tripoli Valley, I think it's pretty darn.
it's sharp. Can you sharpen the blades or no?
The
Yeah,
carbide
it's replaceable. You just got
Carbide you can't steal.
Oh, no, you can sharpen carbide.
The carbide you can, the steel you can't.
Yeah.
Of the hand plate?
No, the hand plate,
That's what I was.
the
asking.
regular tersa plates.
Yeah, I know that one, but I was thinking
Oh.
of the hand plate.
Probably not.
Probably not. That's what I was. Thinking.
Probably not, because I think they're just meant to be. But you get a package,
It's not worth it. Yeah.
but you get like 6 blades for, I don't know, $20.
Oh gosh.
And the reversible.
Yeah, and you.
So,
I mean, I'd spend $20 to not have to sharpen it all the time.
Well, and my whole curse with a hand plate is I always, I don't seem like, now all I got is old kind of Stanley Bailey, block. You have to play. Getting that blade to be perfectly,
You always got.
it's got just something, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about this. Anyway, anybody else got show and tell?
I have a quick one. It's arguably kind of stupid, but I figured I'd bring it in anyway. I'm doing this job for a client where it's a big cabinet run and some of the drawer fronts, they're putting audio components behind them on shelves. And they want the drawer fronts to flip down and stay flip down to the bottom. But because of the cabinet, I need to make them both soft close and soft open. And I've never seen hardware that did that. So I found these. I'm going to pass this around. It's a hinge from a company called SEMIWW, which makes premium hardware. And this thing does a soft close, a soft open, and then a soft close with a damper. And mounting it's fun. It's kind of a new one. They're about $50 a pair. But for what I'm doing here, it's kind of an interesting hinge. I just found it. It's called the Pacta hinge. And I made a little template to mount it because I don't trust my own skills, so. You know, I do that with every new piece of hardware and just kind of labor it, but anyway, that's a new and interesting hinge. I have. Yeah, I got this one. And then one more quick thing, this is not terribly exciting, but. The same client asked me to do separators in one of the cabinet drawers. Where they wanted adjustability in being able to move the separators around, right? But they didn't want to see any hardware, so I was like, all right, that's pretty specific. So I came up with this is actually I finished it today. Came up with this. So it's a walnut and maple, right? And what's interesting about this is it's got the little separators with them out. But what's cool about this is I was poking around on Richelieu's website, as I do, and I found a shelf pin, which I'll pass around, which is 5 millimeters on one side, which is standard full size, and 3 millimeters on the other. And I looked at that and went, well, that could be interesting. So what I did is simply, I don't know what you can see here. I'm not gonna pass this around, sorry. What you can see here is I drilled matching holes, and these pins just fit in the holes, and that gives me a 3 millimeter peg. And then I just notched the separators so they could put the pegs wherever they want and just move them around. Simple, but this was driven by finding these, which I didn't know existed. So kind of cool. This element, of course, packs up like 10,000, so I've got more than I'll ever use. But you know, what are you gonna do? But anyway, just a little. It's rare that the hardware drives the design, but here's a case for it.
Were those meant for like wax?
I have no idea.
Okay.
There's all sorts of random stuff on the Richelieu website, and
I
I
know.
saw those. I was like, you know, those might work for this.
I didn't know if there was a.
And then the only other challenge was like, how do you cut a 3 millimeter perfect, you know, sander, right? So I tried to do it on the shaper, but I didn't have a 3 mil slot cutter, so it didn't have that. It was all super easy. So I built this in like 3 hours or so. Anyway, yeah. Odie's. Yeah, not good. So hopefully they like it. If they don't, it's in Chicago. I will.
Anybody else got a show and tell?
It's somewhat on topic. No, we're all on topic. But I have a water leveler that I use for my saw. I didn't know if people were interested at all, but it's a little heavy. I don't know. What's it called again? It's just a lumber leveler. So I got it off of Mac Cremona. But it's basically like bolts welded just to the C channel and then corresponding bolts that you just made up. And it lets you spin the nuts to get level a lot easier for when you're drawing the lumber. But I use this for all my stacks. Oh. Yeah. So I can pass it around to people. How much are they? Super cheap to make. I think each one of them is.
So you made it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, you might get into it. It is a little heavy.
Yeah, I was worrying for you.
But, you just go to the steel yard, and you can have them cut to length if you want, which is what I did. And then I drilled the holes, I welded the bolts on the edge. It's a pretty quick project, but they work really well. Cool. Thank you. At my house.
Front yard, backyard?
In the garage.
Oh, okay.
Next to the furnace.
Yeah, next to the front.
All right. Any other show and tell? Now we're gonna do the information, speech mistakes in it. Oh, okay.
How many mistakes do you make a week?
Enough for a meeting.
But he just needs to one a month for the,
Right,
for the meeting.
Well, what are you selective about?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I was, doing some veneer and got it out. And I got it flattened and everything, and I'm putting it together and da. It was a little tight getting it in to the fixture I had for doing the veneering. I figured, yeah, close enough, you know, vacuum's gonna pull it down, everything's gonna be great. You know, Well, I'm worried. So then I took it out, and I noticed it wasn't actually totally flat. And then I find out that, yeah, you know, you can't have an air gap in there, and they gotta be laid flat, they gotta go together. and,
Ouch.
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was.
Oy.
That was, it was not good.
So what would you do differently?
Make sure that the, you know, the flattens weren't gonna catch on the side of the fixture I had it in. So that it would actually go down flat. I mean, I've used this fixture forever and ever, but for whatever reason.
It's really easy to screw up veneering.
Okay. Well, you already talked about the wood, they got an open house here on Sunday. It's only 3 hours, and it's casual, you walk through, see everything in the building, so kind of cool. We talked about this before, the clubs, we're gonna have a December meeting is always show and tell. So we added something to that. We're gonna have a challenge, people that have a shop made stool. Something, you know, now, could be for the shop, could be for the kitchen, could be for the garden, doesn't matter. It's gotta be a shop made stool. It could be green, wood, air dried, kiln dried, anything. And we're gonna figure out a prize to be presented. And we added a category for the ugliest stool. So if you got that really wonky 2x4 or twisted piece of wood that you've had for a long time, and this might be what it was. It's been laying around in your.
It doesn't matter how bad you think it is, there's probably a worse one out there.
Yeah.
Then you won't win.
We are gonna challenge you to sit on this stool. So, it can be ugly, but it has to be functional.
So you might just have to go on a diet. You know? That's my plan.
Or bring a friend that you don't care for.
Can I bring my toddler? 30 pounds.
Alright,
Yeah.
so we're always looking for the input from members, you know, we're always coming up with a topic for the following next couple of months, you know. So it's really saying if you got an idea of a topic that you think we ought to have, then feel free to send us an email or talk to somebody from the board.
Tell us now.
Yeah.
Or tell us now.
Right after.
So
Something
some of
you
the
want-
ones we're looking at actually are, we've got an industry expert on sheet goods finishing that's potentially gonna come in.
Sure.
We got a lead on a festival rep, come in and tell us what their latest employees are. And then we're gonna do partnerships, cabinet box making 101. You know, if you're gonna, you know, most everything we build, whether it's kitchens or, and, you know, it's a box, you know? So we're gonna think about that. And then joiner setup, cutters, techniques. Whatever anybody wants to come up with, or, you know. So,
Yeah, the question was like, I know there's a Dropbox site with all the historical stuff.
There's Google Drive.
Yeah, sorry. Is there any thought on like putting all that in a list, throwing it on the form and saying, we want to talk about it? Maybe there's something we talked about 5 years ago that membership now wants to see.
We actually have an Excel sheet with, so the meetings are recorded. And if there's a PowerPoint or whatever, we link it. Like last month, different story. There's a few mistakes in there. Okay, we're not perfect. And to be honest, recording the video is secondary to kind of the meeting, right? But we upload them. There's a Google sheet, right? It's like an Excel sheet, and it has everything. And there's like a hyperlink to the YouTube video usually. So since COVID, we've done that, and then a little bit before. I haven't gone back prior to that. So
now the other thing is, if we can't go back too many years because the place where we used to host the meeting, the guy that hosted it at his place, he absolutely hated PowerPoints. And we had pictures sometimes, but it was more of informal and do it in person. So, there's not a lot of PowerPoints from back in the beginning, so.
Here's the topics for maybe labeled somewhere. Throw those in the.
So-
captions.
Check it out. You see the screen?
Yes.
So this is my Dropbox. And I've got meetings from, this is the ancillary material that went into the meeting, PowerPoints, images, whenever anybody gives me a thumb drive that they want to present. This is in Dropbox. I'll copy them over to Google. Because right now it's in my own Dropbox, and though it's shared, it's probably hidden at this point. The videos, YouTube,
Well, they're hidden on YouTube though.
they're hidden on YouTube. We should unhide them. Why don't we unhide them?
We had this debate. We can unhide.
Yeah. Honestly, the answer to your question of why is that not done, which is a fair question, is effort. It's just effort. And no one seems to have time. You know, because the reward is so high. I mean, the pay is amazing, you know?
It was, the question was more about the topics. Like,
Yeah, no, it's absolutely.
But if you have any question,
One of the things also we want to say is, this group is not just about, professional woodworkers. And if you're a beginner woodworker, we're glad to do a beginning topic. I've seen somebody there and said, hey, I just got a drill press and I really don't know, a couple ways I should use it.
yeah,
Good topic, glad to do it. And then conversation will go where it will, we'll start at the base and so on. So, that's a comment to everybody. It doesn't have to be, a high-end fancy topic. It can be something very basic and say, hey, I could use a little more information. Or I got some techniques that I've been using and hey, like to hear what other people think about.
but here's another good one. Like, has anyone who was here for the saw and specialty? Neil came from saw and specialty, talked about saw blade. Oh, literally. Okay. That was by far one of the most informative ones we've ever had. He talked about like geometry on a circular saw blade. It took a lot of thought. It was really good. I just was curious. Sorry. So like some of those things, you're right. I guess I think that wasn't that long ago, but I guess it was.
It was years ago.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was probably
Time flies.
28,
Probably 28.
No, it's before COVID.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pre-COVID.
or 2019.
The hardest thing is coming up with ideas. It really is. So if there's something you want to, you want a topic about, you gotta share it. That'd be very helpful.
I'll throw an idea out. How about installing crown molding?
That's a terrible idea.
Is that something anybody be interested in? Or does everybody know how to do it?
Everybody knows how to do it poorly.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's not saying
And,
that
and,
backwards.
and scribing that crown into the other crown.
We could
That's-
probably do a demo of that too.
Yeah,
You wanna present out?
Like seeing where they got little gadget, a corner that's not necessarily 90.
yeah.
And how do you get the, so it looks like.
Well, and again, that's doing crown molding. Every corner's got a piece of corner bead on it and the mud's build up on it. And like you say, it's not a true 90. It's an inside or outside corner. And I've done some crown jobs where it's a stained finish and it's gotta be right. You can't make it up with caulk and paint. And you put the one piece in and you gotta make that fit. And, but anyway, I would be willing to demonstrate some of that if somebody is interested. That'd be cool. That'd be good. Cool.
I would just expand that topic to the other things about
Yeah.
molding.
Yeah, we could-
use molding, not just round,
Other
but the alternatives and so forth. So
Yeah.
it'd probably be a bigger topic. very
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, that's true, yeah, and even base molding, put base molding in, right, all walls are straight, all corners are 90, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, except when you actually get in there.
Except that was always.
Yeah,
And it's always, it's never,
and the boards are never warped,
yeah.
and the floors are always straight, right?
Please.
I've got a friend of mine that's willing to do if he and I don't fly RC aircraft, but he is an expert model maker. So he does all of his plans through a scratch build. So, but he's also doing right now a 36 replica of this crap. So he's going to bring some stuff in. He's got tons of it.
tumbling, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's
Kinda
something that's completely different off the wall, looking one we're doing.
Yeah,
Probably take some different techniques, so that's kind of interesting.
It's gotta be, interesting micro techniques, small piece of very accurate. That'd be
He
cool.
said, he retired as a dental equipment repair guy.
Yeah.
He's got all these micro tools that he accumulated over the years. That's what he uses for a lot of.
Can you talk to him, send information to the board?
Yeah, we talked about it last night, and he just said, he may be online watching something without me. Okay. Hey Chuck, if you're there, hello.
No, it's a Chuck.
Nope.
So.
Good idea, guys.
Yeah, so just let me know if you're interested. Thank you guys.
Great question for you.
So, and I guess with that, ready to go on with the show.
That's right.
I got nothing.
All right, you wanna share some photos?
Sure.
We'll start with the photos. All right, so it's all about metalworking, but for a woodworker. So there's kind of like, in my mind, there's really two paths you're gonna make this way. You're gonna add metal to a project to add some feature like legs, bracketry, or something like that, an accent. Or the other side is you're gonna use it to make something for your shop, right? Something structural. Yes. So these I didn't make because I had a week to do this, and I was working. This is for my son's birthday. We were trying to get this built up. So these are some bar beams. But I just bought those. Once again, I couldn't easily made them. I just ran out of time. So I found those on Etsy, and I just had them shipped to me. And I had a lot of other things break in the house, so that was easier. But very easy. Okay, that's like just a punch strip out of accent it. And if you can find the other photos. So this is the mobile base that I've made. I made this one, and then I made two for Jay, who is, he was in the club for a long time. Anyway, so this was pretty easy. It's just a 1 inch by 2 inch tube for everything. And then I think this was 3/16 plate. This was just welded up in my parents' driveway because I was in my apartment still, and there was like a questionable outlet in the garage that I had access to. So I went to my parents' house and welded it on some metal sawhorses. And my Delta Unisaw design, and the reason I wanted this to make my own, because most of them, you have it for under the base of the saw. Well, you have that wing, and I put a router table in it. You don't want the legs because in a basement it is very unlevel, very, very unlevel. So if I, have the legs, I'm gonna have to be constantly gotta go over and adjust it. So I just made it simple, and I made a base that goes all the way over in order to sit up. That's the function. But yeah, and so here's I'm welding it up the parents' driveway. It looks awful, but that's what an 80 grinder paint it for. Okay. So the key thing here is I'm not an expert. This is like my second project. Works great. It works great. Hasn't broken yet.
Looks good.
Yeah, and I welded it with this this beauty. This is it's the Harbor Freight Special. Okay. So we'll get into what there's different types of welders, but like this one at the time was like $80. It's so fine in this store. So not bad. It works great.
Where did you pick up the weld skill?
So I learned MIG welding. I took an hour-long class, 1 hour, it's all section, okay, at Pet Shop in Allen Park when I was around. But to be honest, if you can use a hot glue gun or a caulk gun, you can weld. That's your answer. Okay, honestly, that's it. I might argue it's easy. I think it actually is.
How do you cut the steel?
Oh, angle grinder. That's all I use. Angle. So like people get real into this, like you need a horizontal bandsaw drop. No, or cold saw. No, you don't. You need an angle grinder. Okay. I had a
But with a slicer wheel.
yeah, with those black, cutter wheels. That's all you use.
Back with the guards, because when those things shatter.
Yeah.
It is.
So Yeah, don't bend it in there.
Oh, yeah, they're fragile.
They sell thicker ones, like not at Harbor Freight, but they take way longer to cut with. So I use the thin ones and I just go for the gamble where, texture. But,
There's a reason why they call it,
yeah. I had the Harbor Freight, angle grinder. It worked great until it died. And then I got a Walt one because I figured if I can break one of these, if they're 2 years. Wire cutting, but yeah, I figured I might as well get one that might last longer, and I haven't broken that, so it's a good buy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my experience is the horizontal, you have access to horizontal bandsaw, you've got access to angle grinder. Horizontal bandsaw is like watching paint dry.
Oh yeah. And you can get like a
Oh, it's a nice edge when you're all done, yeah.
Yeah, but you put the angle grinder and you put a flat disc on it and clean right up. Yeah. That's all I have to do. Okay, like don't overthink this. It's metalworking, and like when you're putting metal on a woodworking project in particular, generally it's not supposed to look all shiny and pretty. Unless you really want that and it's like stainless steel. In that case, if you're not a professional, find a professional to pay him to put down those beautiful, dime looking welds. And when we say dime looking welds, it's like
Stack it up.
yeah, stack of dimes on the side. Like what? So if you want to go to the PowerPoint, I want to run through the different types of welding. All right. So I kind of dumbed it down. I'm sure people here know a lot more. Give me, I keep it simple. So there's really I say 4 types. You got 2 different types of MIG, kind of the same but different. TIG, stick. So MIG flux core, real. So what this is when you weld, you need to have a shielding glass over it, okay? Over as the, with the prevent the oxidation and corrosion, right? One of those. So you can either have it where they coat this wire in a stuff, I don't know what, flux, okay? And as it goes, it just burns it off. That's what this one is. Okay, so as it's coming out, it's arcing, and it is completing the circuit, and it is burning the flux and melting metal. That's all that is. You can get the gas shielded, which costs more, and then you need a tank, which I don't want because this one is like a suitcase, so I just carry it with me. I have no need. It does produce a lot for your welds. In fact, I'm certain they have it here. If you want to like learn the class, come here, take the class. Hour long, it'll be amazing. And they probably have really nice equipment. And then TIG is with you have an electrode with a gun similar to this, but then you're feeding it metal manually. And then stick is kind of like MIG, but it's different. Still got the flux on it, but it's been for heavy grade stuff, I would say, right? So yeah. And once again, very cheap and easy. So if you're gonna start out, my pitch, this is my sales pitch here. So stuff you'll need, stick. Stick is like it has there's an electrode with plant and basically once again using it, but for a much higher speed,
like you need to have a slide hammer and you chip off from the outside slide. It's a pain, but like if you're doing big stuff, stick.
done this.
Yeah, I've done it on the.
Oh, see, I've never done it. Seen it, that's about it. So, yep.
That's all I've ever done.
Oh,
I've done stick welding.
I've only ever done MIG. Yeah.
Well, they do have a class here that I did take. Yeah. And they teach you, the MIG welding, the gas, and the TIG welding. So it's a good.
Yeah, obviously the TIG is much more difficult. But if you're trying to get into it. Yeah. So simple things you need to start out. The MIG welder, the Harbor really cheap. Once again, different place or price with brand. I found like almost all of this setup, something like $120. I thought it was steel. I went looking at past week. It's gone by now. We'll do another one. Tank, if you're doing it. Welding wire, different ones you're gonna get. Helmet, just get the auto dark meat. So you have to wear a helmet. I brought mine. So you have to get a helmet. Because it will burn out your eyeballs basically, otherwise, right? That's too bright. So this one with auto darkening, you can tell I haven't used it in a little bit, but you can see through it, and then once it gets bright, you know, from the welding, it'll auto darken. I've also tried it with the always dark, and it is awful. It's always a pain. So
Depends what you grew up.
see, I started with the always dark.
Because the batteries die on that.
It's solar. It's solar. They're all solar now because they've run off the UV from the welding. Yeah, so like you don't need, there's no, I mean, there is a battery, but it's just like solar power. It's super easy.
20 years old, battery's still going.
And honestly, I looked it up. It's $10 more to get an auto darkening one versus not. It's worth it way more than I'd easily pay $20 more. So yeah, that's pretty great. Gloves. So that this is the one thing where I think you splurge personally. Good gloves. Like, these are still Harbor Freight gloves, but they're like not the super cheap $7 ones. I think these are like $25. So still not that bad, but they're like they're thinner, I would say, and they're get more dexterity to pick up small things you're trying to weld. Because that's what always happens. Trying to weld in the whole thing. What other ones did I mention? Oh, metal to weld, and then this accessory. So if we go to the accessories real quick. So some of the quick things I've brought up, you might want some MIG pliers. They're good because you gotta like clean out the cup. Because what will happen is, as you're welding, it's splattering all over, and you'll have to take off the cup and to clean it out. It fills up with splatter. And these are nice because it kind of has everything. It's got the little things you can hold this, come off, so you can twist it, clean it out. These are really nice. And then, or Amazon. Amazon prices are being Harbor Freight about that. So, you know, there's that. You know what I mean? And then 90-degree magnet are really nice to have. At least, you know, you hold it up to one piece of metal, put another piece of metal, it'll weld. So hold it in place. You're not trying to hold it off. That's what it is. What?
With what you've done so far, have you gone to keep the sleeves or a jacket?
I wear so every time I've had to weld, it's always never in summer. Okay, it's never been in summer. So I have like a old Carhartt that's just heat up.
Sure.
So I wear that because I'm always outside. So like when I welded for Jay, it was in a loading bay in January. And I welded my case, it was December. In my parents' driveway. Yeah, I've never had that problem, but yeah, probably should. I just haven't gotten there yet. Don't wear synthetic.
Right.
Yeah, like, there's some obvious things you don't wear
Yeah,
synthetic.
long pants are good.
Yeah, hold on. Why is that out?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
Two
that's
words.
right. Catch up iron burn. Yeah. Yeah.
Melt your skin.
That weld all year round. I actually do a whole yard, I'm not sure what the welding is. Whatever. But it's interesting, these guys are all wearing, they got green pants on. I guess reflect the part. They got these like metal shiny jackets on. They're out there welding. Now, as soon as they get done welding, when they take the jacket off, they only got foot trucks on. You know, I mean, it's, you know. So,
It's because the welders put out so much. Like you can get out once.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll get burned.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
from the.
you'll get sunburn. So really.
I just gotta point out, you said when you started that it's easier than hot glue.
Yeah, it is.
My hot glue gun doesn't cause sunburn. I can do it in the summer and winter, and I don't have to worry about my eyes getting burned out.
I think it's easier. Or at least use it in talking. You can do a real bad job of talking.
Yeah.
I say definitely, maybe not hot glue, talking dough for sure. If you can really screw up the talking
Not
dough,
quite as dangerous.
that's fair. It's really like not that bad. Just worse than yeah. We're woodworkers. We do way worse things, I think. Like, you're not gonna cut your finger off.
What's that?
You run the Marines on like OSI.
Yeah, true, no, OSI is nasty.
No, I
Some
mean,
will kill you.
So I mentioned also a welding table. I just have metal sawhorses, but like, if you don't need anything, to be honest, like, you don't need anything.
You have to ground the piece. right?
Yes, so we should cover that. So in order to weld, what you do, obviously what I would do is I plug it in, you put this on your piece, you're welding, so this, whatever it is, right, clip it on. See the ground, if your piece doesn't have it, put a metal clamp on it, take off, the rubber pad, that's all I do. Woodworking clamp, take off the rubber pads. Now I have metalworking clamp. So, I sacrifice a couple and it makes you take it, that's fine. So then you clamp on this, if you have to grab, you have to complete the circuit, right? And that allows you then to use your weld. All right?
Price driven.
Yeah, vice grip. Yeah, I mean, it gets real, whatever you got, kind of. Does.
there's one big safety tip that you might want to talk about. Woodworkers. You're in a wood shop that makes a lot of sparks depending on what you weld and how you weld them.
Yes,
You better keep your weld area.
yeah. So normally, like my welding area is always the driveway, but then if I was gonna be doing it at my house right now, it'd be the driveway. I'm not gonna go do it in my basement wood shop.
Yeah,
So you
there's-
really don't wanna do it.
Not next to the furnace.
It generates a lot of gas.
It does. Hence also why I like doing it outside. Here,
the sparks are flying,
yeah.
so depending on which style you're using, but,
Yes, agree. So, anyway, that's what I tend to do. Steel cost, so this is what I wanted to bring up. Okay, so steel is really expensive, right? Kind of like wood at times, but the classic thing that someone says is, oh, you go to Alro, right? Alro's got steel, they're a huge steel supplier. Well, they're a big steel supplier to like companies when you want lower quantities. It's really expensive, so. And I gave 3 examples, because I've done all 3, okay, done all 3. So you can go to Alro, 24-foot section of an inclined tube, $185, $158, basic marketplace. I looked on Wednesday, or no, Tuesday, $35. There's in one volunteer. That's not hard. There's a ton of it on there. I would always tell people little bright steel in Redford, but they're out of business.
they won't charge you enough.
Yeah, probably not. They were really cheap. So like that home on the base I did for like $120, including the cast.
So another place,
Right?
another place to get cheap steel is the junkyard. There's
Yeah.
Haggerty Metals. They normally buy metals, but you can go there and ask, go through their files and stuff. I picked up some 80/20 there.
Oh yeah, it's good for a 80/20.
Yeah, I mean they were 20-foot sticks.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah,
they were-
I bought a bunch of those on just for planting color. Like never found good steel there. Like get steel to me, it's always like welded to 25 things, it's like,
Then,
it's covered in like 12 layers of paint or it's like, some
You're
layers
also
of
not
paint.
gonna know what alloy you're not. So it's important to do what you're doing that.
Yeah, but if you're trying to build a little base, it doesn't matter because even the weakest steel is way higher strength than anything in wood. So
Another place to go, Allo actually has alloy.
yeah, I've heard that.
Pick up rocks and things that are just not put anymore. So there used to be one on South Industrial, not far from here. I don't know if that one's still open. No, there is one. That's gonna ask about that. A place on South Industrial.
But so, and I've done bed frames too, because on track day, people, throw those out. It was when I was in the apartment, because people, leave and they just throw out the bed and throw out the bed frame. So I snagged the bed frame because it's angle iron and it is definitely not corrosion break steel. Does not weld well.
but it's tempered very strong. Don't try to drill a hole through it.
Oh, I drilled it fine.
Well, I tried to drill a few in there.
Must be I have a lower grade of bed frame.
Yeah,
But like it drilled like really soft. Like I thought it drilled easier than aluminum. It was like it was a really bad grade of steel, but it worked for what I needed, right? It was It's all
But
about,
bed frames are great, I see those all the time, and I always grab those.
yeah, they work really well, and it's a perfect source of angling, and you'll build like everything out. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Anyone else have a good source?
Well, for Algro, when I do a big project that has, say, over 100, I send the diagram to Algro, everything, even if I. So they already have perfect 45, perfect angle, so all I think is ready to take. All I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also like, I mean, I've had this is way back, but in college, the company in Canada that will like laser cut tube things from body wants that. So I've done that for race trucks and freight when I was in college. But yeah, they'll do all sorts. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there. Just gotta pay for it. So it's a question of where you want to be on that prospective.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking personally, it's kind of to talk about because we're used to wood and a lot of us, you know, if you're not into using any welding at all, big step to do, right? So, anyone else? So some people have welded, obviously. Yeah. What do you guys weld?
Another supplier that
Oh,
I
yeah.
use, Speed and Son. Speed and Sons, they do a lot of construction equipment.
Where they at?
Other place, so they're in Brighton, Livonia,
Okay.
Redford.
Good for pricing stuff?
Yeah, the prices, they will pre-cut whatever you want. Of course, you can pay for it, Speeds, right, yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of them.
Before COVID, Federal Supermarket. Yeah. And they had one out from there. Going for public and they both. They were really same thing. There was also one over in Livonia, or not, yeah, Livonia area.
Redford. You talking about bright steel?
No,
Oh, that one.
Federal Supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't last. Something like that. Yeah, we're not there.
Is there a difference in welding techniques with the alloy? For example, suppose you were working on stainless
Oh, yeah. Crazy different.
versus the kind of steel you've been talking about.
Yes. Very different. I would say more for stainless. Most people use to take at that point. Especially if it's what you use it for. You can make, so, okay. The whole history behind it, MIG was actually developed for aluminum. Most people don't realize that, but it was actually developed for aluminum before TIG was even like developed. That was the first one. It was built for military in World War II, and then kind of went from there, right? So there are different alloys, and you can get different welding wire. I'm fairly certain there's not a flux core for stainless steel. I have not looked, but very unlikely. I haven't had a weld. I'm not sure.
When doing the stainless, you actually have to back gas in the backside as well, otherwise it looks like all of it. It's all weird.
Yep. You have to do that also with titanium. You also have to reheat it. Depending on what it is. Yeah, for woodworking, like you said. Yeah, I'm like, I think the thing where like, if cable legs, probably guessing, you know, that's a simple one, some brackets, shelves, or something in a cabinet, or I like it for mobile base. I'll go through those, and then after right when I was probably very Jay kept asking me, those who knew Jay knew he had an addiction to buying new equipment. That's great. New old equipment. Yeah, new. Yeah, and he kept on needing new mobile base. He was talking, asking me about it much. I don't tell him. I'm a little busy trying to get married right now, so I can't. So then he started having some else do it, and then he moved. So got out of that game. Otherwise, that's all I would do in life. you're gonna go through a lot of welding wire, I wanna mention that. So if you're doing like some of this, they sell it in spools, for this one, it's almost bigger, but they have the 1 pound and 2 pound, and then I think there's 5. But those are bigger. Mine can take 2 pounds, works great. I go through every time I made a mobile base jam, a 2 pound roll every time. So it's a lot. It's a lot of metal. So yeah. How much is the roll cost? I just had it on there from Amazon. It was $23 or $24, I think, for 3 2 pound rolls. So $8. Not bad. I mean, it's more expensive than blue, but
I had somebody tell me that those people, especially garage shop people, will put too much on it. Oh, yeah. In other words, you don't have to have you're not trying to make this thing water, like, you put a 2-inch span and skip 4 inches, put 2 inches.
So based on the loads I see for my parts that I work on benching for heavy trucks. Okay, I see the length of weld. You guys just like a little tack, like cable is fine. They're more than fine. So you go all the way around. So usually what you're trying to do is pull penetrate. That means you're trying to get the weld all the way from one side to the other. And so if you're doing sacred stock, sometimes you might go, got it. This machine it has a rating. That rating is definitely ambitious. But I've done it and it works. But
And the problem with doing a long, heavy bead like that is now you're adding a whole lot of heat to that, and you got to worry about warping and twisting those pieces. Going through and putting a spot weld every so often,
yeah,
ties it together,
so that's
and then you come back in and fill that a couple spots in, so that it remains straight and true.
that is a good point. So like when I built the mobile base, what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll tack each one. That's just doing it like a spot weld, right? Little one, little bit, and then come through and you weld it all together. So that way it holds itself together, but
Right.
it's not moving on.
And you're putting a little bit of welding here and then back over here, back over here. You're not doing it all in one spot, all in one shot. So,
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, the useful tip is gonna be in the welding. I don't have much to say. I've got them on my phone, the Lincoln Welding and the Miller Welding app. So, and if you're not gonna take a class here, you can go ahead and buy a welder, bring it home. And you can tell it what thickness and what type of material you're gonna do, and it's gonna tell you what size wire or what size, stick you need to use. It'll tell you what settings you should put on your machine. It'll get you in the ballpark, so you're not guessing. And then your YouTube channels are both phenomenal. There's so much stuff that you can take off. What are the names again? Miller Welding and Lincoln Welding. Those are probably the 2 biggest. Yeah, the common welding. And their machines are phenomenal. They're good. Yeah, Miller's a sponsor on it for that reason. Yeah. They're usually expensive. They're like the machines are, right? They're justified, I'd say, but you know, they're not cheap. Yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't had any too many issues with my whole thing, but once again, I'm all in the cold. There you go, the winter sport. These are ready. So why have people welded for the workshop? I guess.
Nice to ask a question. So let's say you're making a base. I'm sorry, I'm real neophyte on this. So you want to make a base for your TIG welder, or make it simple,
Sure.
okay? So you want to have a base. So I'm going to go get one by one. So that's going to be, essentially a box, a long box, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to cut them off. So I'm going to have 2 long sides, 2 short sides, okay? And then what? So I'm going to butt the, I butt the you know, the short side to the long side, and then spot weld that, right? And so I'm gonna somehow attach this somehow to something. Something with a magnet to then give me
Use this.
then give me the right angle.
So you put your magnet up here, and then you put on this piece, and then you bring in your other piece, and the long pieces that are sitting on sawhorses. Could be wood.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
So then
tack it in.
tack it in, then you do, so you get
Get all
essentially all
four.
four corners.
Yep,
Okay, and so now I've got the base,
yep,
And
and
now-
now tack, then you might wanna weld it all the way up and say.
weld it up, and then I
Or, you
maybe
know.
say I want to put some plates, so I can put some casters on it. So get some sort of plate and then attach those and weld it on.
Yeah.
With it and drill a hole through it for the caster. I mean,
That's
that's
it.
sort of what we're talking about.
Yeah, pretty
Okay, I'm
Yep.
sorry, I just.
No,
you know,
that's exactly.
It's, that's it, and like, you don't need, it's not like you need, like mortise and tenon, right? Like, yes, doing that through weld is way stronger, but like, once again, we're not dealing with these flows.
Aren't you using a vacuum?
You know, dangerous, it's dangerous.
Honestly, yeah,
But basically, if you think wood and not wood.
Yeah.
It's the same.
it really is.
Yeah, it's basically cloth.
It's, yeah, and it's really easy with steel. Now, the things you wanna do is things is practice, steel, right? So if you get some rusty steel, yeah, you gotta, right? But if you, they always have oil and there's that, black coating, that steel pipe. Real steel. Okay.
Use a wire brush on the grinder, what do you use?
I have, I've had access to a sandblaster before, so I've done that. I have just used steel wool and elbow grease because sample grinder. Got that.
This grinder, yeah.
Yeah, I've used the disc grinders, it's got like thick stuff, like a thick plate that those caskets had on. Just a flat disc on the grinder. Yeah. Yeah. Sandpaper, right?
What's better, wire wool or steel?
What's supposed to
You wanna get down to raw metal. You wanna get that.
Done. Yeah, whatever's closest to whatever you're gonna remain. That's what I would tell you. Like, my sandpaper's further away than the steel, so you still pick the steel. Honestly, that's how I pick. Really,
I do stick welding.
Yeah.
And, there's a rod that you can buy that is made for rusty metal. And that's what I always buy, because all my metal is a bunch of stuff I picked up, you know, on the side of the road or whatever. So everything I've got is rusty, and I don't really worry about cleaning all that much. I weld it and it's what's that? That's
70-18.
I'm not sure the number.
You can burn, so if
It's-
it's steel, there are different rods, that you find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can blast.
so like.
Yeah,
what are
it
the
just
different types of
burns.
rods?
Burns through it, yeah.
70-18, like 16-18, 16-14 is the final finish on, model steel.
Okay,
70-18 is the burn harder.
I've never done stick weld, so this is all,
That's what the cluster of.
yeah, and I've never had the desire to go learn about stick welding, 'cause then I'd have to go buy a stick welder. I don't know, this is like, so, sure, it was $80, my dad bought it, and then he didn't need it, so he just gave it to me, so. I don't think.
That's
it
even
should be
better.
free, but yeah, he wanted it out of his garage, so that was the price, but. Yeah, it's all inside. All right, anyone else do anything?
Another type of welding is spot welding, but that's more for sheet metal,
Yes.
not, and that's the steel.
You can get spot welders, I have done that, there's a Harbor Freight spot welder actually,
Yeah,
and it works, I don't think it's peaceful.
The other thing we thought.
Yeah,
exactly.
I did one like mill stuff shop, it's put pedal start on it.
yeah,
I was like, oh, that seems.
I don't think it's as useful. Kind of pain.
Well, depending on what you need to create,
Yeah,
you know, I make stuff out of sheet metal, galvanized sheet metal sometimes. And,
oh.
and that's what I use that for.
Yeah, we can talk about galvanized, don't use galvanized,
Oh,
yeah, just don't,
Like fence posts for galvanized.
Yeah. yeah,
Yeah, that's supposed to weld on that, so that.
yeah.
The fumes coming off.
Yeah, there's bad fumes, don't do it, just don't do it, it's not worth it. We're doing it for this reason.
But you know, brackets to show the screw through all and then we put the something. I got some of that. Welded up my pig. To put, ceramic tile in the box. For, so give my battery for the. So it's a thing, in my battery, 3 years, right? For an electric motor on the home.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I did that was 2 years prior to that, since, put that, stop firing my new stuff and everything else.
Oh.
So I made a fireproof box, ceramic tiles and just covered up like that page. That's why I can't change the batteries through here. Yeah, well, what lithium chemistry? Iron phosphate. Yeah, all right. So it is lithium, yeah, lithium iron phosphate. I've never seen any reported. That's what it's like. Here's what I did. So nobody's talked about now.
You want to?
So I took the level class in high school.
Okay. It's still welding.
Yeah, and I learned gas welding and arc welding there, as well as plate. So lots of things that like for cutting joint, cutting a lot faster than that. I'd recommend it to do a lot of and we've got like still in there and lots of and hoses going off. Then hoses going tip for welding. And it's basically you got a steel rod that is up to long and you melt the rat into the metal with gas welding, more easily thinner metals without running through. More small pieces that are difficult to, like if you're gonna make a small bracket or something, and it's hard to see that through a hard welding, so you might want to put either gas welding or brazing. Brazing uses the same type of torch, but you've got a brazing rod and that will braze the metal steel.
I've also seen people braze map gas.
Yeah,
I think you can braze like a little bit that.
Well, it's sort of like soldering in general.
Yeah.
right, like it is, like copper tubes of solder. Yeah, you can solder copper, but you can't solder steel.
Right.
Again, back to the oxy assembly, I've got a set and it's not the best for everything, but it's versatile. It can do your cutoff without your wheel. You can cut holes and shapes and stuff without drilling the machine and all that. And I do a lot of bending for wood turning tools, of bending to make tools, and you think about that,
Yeah, I've done it with just map gas.
Yeah.
And a couple map gas, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone here have a plastic cutter? Like that?
I used to find a cutter for more decorative, like, I used to think for testing plastic cutter, I used to have all the time now, previous. And then that's also useful. I'll make a metal bracket for the table and work up the and then they also have powder in here.
They have powder coating here as well?
Yeah.
Oh, well then that is a great product.
That was great.
I the problem. I had it to do it once.
I have others, what I picked up.
That's thinking, trying to get a smooth line. Big rubber or is that?
That's right. It does make it like a kind of a slightly underneath a lot of the time, so it makes it things out. Usually it's just like a flat wheel. Sometimes it's just setting perfect, it's just like half the whole parking take off. But it's worth it. now a lot of labor companies order it, don't even have to bring your own computer. Just a funny thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to like welding and when and assuming that people was out fast earlier about taking over the base, like the order was. If you're gonna be putting a lot of holes or features into the metal, you might want to do that all before you start welding it up. Because if you have to drill a hole anywhere near a weld, and you get this, it's called the effect. And it basically the part of the metal, you will go through more drill bits than you think of trying to make that hole. So if you can draw it out ahead of time and prep the parts first, it would be way better off.
And I think a lot of techniques, actually, there's a lot of techniques you gotta think about whenever you're putting something together. In particular, because like when you're doing woodworking, right, you gotta make sure if you're putting something in a cabinet, you don't put one step before you do the other, you can't put one in. Same thing happens with modeling welding. So just take forethought. And that's also why tacking is really great, because when you make a mistake, I'll do. Well, then it's your fault. Then you can use the cut off the tack, right? So that's not a thing.
John, you want to talk about this? It's downloading the second picture.
Last project that I welded up was my son's remodeling home. He went out and got prices for, what's it called, see-through staircase weld, cable weld. It was like $6,000. I said, that's too much. I just called Speed Up, had him cut the 4 posts that were 5 posts that I needed. Cut the plates for the bottom of them, weld them all together, to the floor. Can't see under the handrail, but there's a 1x1 tubing in there. So what we basically did is each opening is like almost like a structured box, and tension doesn't give it all. Cost us about $800 to build. And that includes all that. What we did is we drilled all the holes on the side cap and so it was still direct. And the handrail, we basically miter folded it. So profiled it, painted the back.
How thick are the walls on the post?
Post, a 5/16.
Oh, so thick.
I wanted it thicker because I knew it was gonna tap. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Your stuff?
Just go through one.
Which person? Is that which board?
Got a sustainer for it. It's
Oh, I see, I see.
I didn't know you liked sustainer. I thought you didn't like. I know it was. Yeah, I think so.
This is a combination of actually dovetails into some things that have been mentioned already. Where am I standing?
By the phone.
So this is the coffee table my spouse designed. We built it out of curie board, which is a sorghum press material. And when we were almost done with it, legs on and everything, it was pulling. So if you go to the next slide. No. Now don't tell anybody. What I ended up doing, going, well, shit, we're not going to tear it apart. It's too far gone. So basically, I just got some 1x1 1/8" square tubing and secured it and lowered it flat. So that was a rescue of condition certain ones going straight.
If we might look on the standard, I think the front where there was like, could have done like, that seems.
Well, what I end up doing is I used some, I figured out how much force I needed. I was in the basement, cranking on the thing to try and get it pulled out. And that's the size that I use.
Okay. Could you have done it with,
It's both? Too much pressure. Too much pressure. Okay.
Number two. So this was a lesson learned. Again, my partner designed a bedroom set, and you guys might have heard me bitching about parallel lines. This was the parallel lines phase. And what this is 3/4 inch ply, Baltic birch. And the idea was aluminum banding in there. Go to the next one. So this was a photo we did in the backyard because we were trying to advertise this feature. But the point is that this is a queen size, but this is for a queen size. So imagine how long that piece of aluminum is. Go to the next one. This is a bit of a detail of what the. So first of all, one of the biggest, there are a lot of pains with it. So you have a piece of aluminum that wraps around the corner. That's a pain. These handles actually.
That it or is it cut?
No, it's been.
Okay.
How thick was that aluminum?
This is.
1/8 inch or that's what I'm.
I don't think I think it's maybe about. So you can see how this is inset here. So basically you need CNC to cut those nice and straight. Now the basically it's an inlay in the 3/4 inch curve. Baltic curve. So if you go to the next one. Yeah, next one. Lessons learned. So the result of this is trying to integrate wood and metal. Right? And the pain is that trying to get that metal to lay perfectly in that CNC groove. If you run your fingernails over it, there's some spots where it's nice and clean, other spots. So yeah, we could never get it perfectly flat. And if it was wood, on wood, you know, sand it, and you go.
Why can't you sand it being aluminum?
We were afraid to cut through the Baltic birch. And if you think about well, we didn't want to go there.
Yeah, I'm still curious.
And well, thinking out loud, the finish
Yeah.
would be like crazy.
Right.
It'd be all.
Yeah.
Was that you know, it would be a little bit higher, so I could see it, but then it would scratch it. And so then I would touch it like 2000, but then there'd be really fine dust that would next to it, and I would sand it, what do you want? And it's scratching it.
Yeah.
My experience with this type of thing is that instead of trying to make it flat, you don't make it flat because people can't tell the difference between 1/32 of an inch and 1/16 of an inch proud. So I'd leave the metal proud, just leave it there. You just can't tell the difference. You'll feel it, of course you'll feel it, but it looks like you're designing it. Then it masks the fact that there's a difference.
Well,
That'd be my approach.
that wasn't our objective.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So basically, that's one of the bad, one of the things I would do it different. This is a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Well, what was the issue? Was it the
You'll get a,
consistency in the channel or was it the inconsistency in the aluminum?
I think it's the inconsistency of the cutting wood.
Baltic is not particularly flat. Like when I see Baltic, it's not flat.
And so I don't know how much it is, but it's at least 5,000 that you'll get.
So your boots that you cut, were they square shoulder?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have them
Oh, yeah.
round on it? Because if your channel is slightly rounded, it minimizes the amount of that.
Well, there would be another way to maybe, if
That's a lot more work.
anybody ever, I'm never gonna do something like
You really learned your lesson.
No, this is never gonna happen. The handles are fine. They've worked really well. And also you gain a little bit because you're not captured on both ends. You get that perfect.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
How would you attach it? Like bonding that in?
Yeah.
Because that one's some screen.
no. It's a decent. And that's the next question. I mentioned that I was being nutrition. And the surgeons have the same perfect is the enemy of the good.
And by that, they you spend so much time making your sutures or whatever you're doing, surgical perfect, that the patient dies because they take it too long, too much anesthesia. Let me give you some background.
Yeah. End of story. Yeah.
And he was doing his project with his wife.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, this is too much. But you know, what we did sand, if you look at the dowels here, those are aluminum dowels, and you can sand those. And so
Nice.
it's all consistent, right? It's just aluminum and wood.
By the way, one thing you'll learn too, we like highlighting his errors because he's German. This is a weekly meeting.
Just to rub it in.
Yeah, so wherever we see an error, we like to zoom in.
But one of the cool things that did come out of it was that aluminum is used the same.
Yeah.
And so these are dowels, aluminum dowels, and you could get those perfectly with the sand. I wasn't worried about the surface. If you go back to lesson learned, the biggest one here is the reason I couldn't find, this was a long time ago. The reason for that outdoor shot was that piece of aluminum, sun was coming down, things were heating up. That aluminum, it's standard. And when I went to look at the back of that thing, so this is a queen size bed, like a 3 inches. That aluminum is separated from the back of the bed by at least 2 inches. Oh, wow. So, okay, you go, well, I'm not gonna use aluminum. But think about this, if you're shipping a piece of furniture from Michigan to California, and that truck was to Arizona, and out there for that city. Think about the interior temperature of that truck or that trailer, of anything that you've got. And, you know, you have a rider for temperature, if you have some sort of monitoring mechanism that truck temperature. So the secondary lesson learned out of that is think about temperature that, oh, it's just in the house, and it's in California, in their house. Yeah, but getting there, it means affecting where your temperature is.
Right? You couldn't you just make it like so thin that it's irrelevant? Like, they,
Yeah.
yeah, they like aluminum foil tape. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
that won't, I know I'm going like,
but look at the handle.
that is a different one. But you do have, if it's bond on both, it's just flex, right?
But yeah, expansion on the handles should.
No, the handles are fine.
Yeah, they should be.
The handles, I would do the handles in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that,
Those have worked out really well.
But it's,
But it's that
that's what
long
I'm saying, like,
piece.
you gotta use that aluminum foil tape, then you're gonna use that like ductwork.
So anyway,
Different.
the notion here, I just wanted to bring up, it was an eye opener for me, but expansion happens. And it's not a big temperature delta. So we hit the next one.
yep.
So just a question, the round, if you bend those long side ones, so you have a bend radii in there, did you put the same radii on the side of the handle to match, or is it sharp edge?
No, it's sharp.
Sharp edge to radius and sharp edge.
Did you bend with the weight or did you make it jig for all the fans?
Jig. No, stamp. Basically, the jig, out of wood. Aluminum, really fun, really soft. So this is another project that's very running. This is a live edge coffee table that, again, we had the wood lying around in the basement for a while. Made it for a friend. You scroll up just a smidge. What Jared was alluding to, you can use metal in either production phase, somehow making whatever, like a table or your opening or whatever. And you can also use it integral in the actual piece. So if you go to the next one, and this is part A and part B. So what is 80-20? People have come up with that. So the first part, I'm going to digress for a second. 80-20 is aluminum extrusion. It's actually manufactured. There are a number of others, and the cast on the ground comes in different sizes. This is the 1.5 inch, and then here's 1 inch, and it comes. I'll get into it a little bit more. So it comes in different sizes. Think of it as a big piece of record set.
And there are other places to get 80/20. Or I should qualify that. You can get aluminum extrusion like that from other places like peanuts and, swaps for less expensive, but there are differences in the quality and how getting that.
Does 80/20 still have their eBay store? They used to sell a lot over eBay.
I just
Cheap.
go directly.
They don't sell the. They only sell the premium.
Oh, okay.
Can't do, they did away with the price they had. Like, off the price of what it was.
Okay, got it.
So if you think about that 1 inch, 1.5 inch stuff up there, you go to the next slide.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a live edge slab, you need to get it flat, right? And so I've got a bunch of 80/20 and I just made the sled rails out of 80/20. I know that it's gonna be straight. The sled that slides back and forth, I've made out of 80/20, and then the router slides back and forth in the groove of this, molten side open, 80/20. And so here I'm using metal to actually fabricate, and then break it down, put it back in the garage, and it's what kind of way.
How do you connect them?
You know,
yes.
this 80/20, there are a tremendous number of fittings and things that you can put together with. And
Yeah, they're fences.
Yeah.
But they also have linear bearings. That
Oh, yeah,
slide on it,
and
which
they've
makes
got
things very,
nylon,
yes.
piece that will go into that slot and everything.
Yeah, so how do you connect them?
Oh, yeah.
Myriad of different options out there, and not just limited to 80/20. If you go to some of the other websites, they have even more unique features. And if you jump over to Europe, it's mind-boggling. You can spend a lot of time just looking through the catalog. So the 80/20 introduction here was, basically I was using it to have a router sled or flatten out the sled. The next piece is on this live edge. Well, we wanted metal legs, quarters, mild steel, and how do you attach the legs to the slab? So the slab's 1.5 inches. So basically, if you go to the next one, okay, there are different ways that you can attach it. We chose to use these threaded inserts, and I'll get into that in a second. But whilst that's going on, there are all sorts of different sizes threaded inserts that you can get. You could screw the legs in. It's or you could use threaded inserts, or in this case, T-nuts wouldn't work, but I do want to touch on T-nuts. I use threaded inserts 5/16. Throw them in. And we can get into that in a second. I did want to touch on the steel. If you're going to use steel, there are lots of permutations of what sort of finish that the customer is expecting. So, for example, on those legs, if you go back, these are actually bent in a break, and then the top one is welded, which was fine because I didn't want anybody to see that weld. I didn't make we picked them up off of Etsy, but we knew them while we were doing it. And they actually have a good break. Like I've seen other people try and bend it in vise, and the angles that you get there just work like hell in my opinion. I'm good. And the weld, even though it's a good weld, you can rack weld better than that. But it wasn't an issue that no one can see that. The other thing here, we talked about mill scale. So this was a hot roll, so it's got mill scale. And we go, oh, that's going to be a design element. And so we just painted it, right? But if you want, it's really a big issue of what type of steel do you want? Do you want hot roll or cold roll? So you're going to get square edges or not? How much mill scale can you tolerate for your final design? Are you going to paint it? Are you going to powder coat it? There are, depending upon what designer you're working with, there can be a lot of specific issues in terms of the detail of that suit. This wasn't a big issue because we were giving it away as a gift. So the person was happy. So all we did is we sanded the mill scale a little bit and looked at them. So, but we've been in other places where there's a surface spec called out and you hate yourself for admitting that you actually took that job because of the surface spec. Everything you can't stand it out.
So what do you do with the expansion? You said your attachment would be inserted, because there's a slot in the metal.
I wish there was. I'd oversize the whole thing on the metal, and that slab's been around for 40 years. So I'm hoping we can add one, and hope it doesn't get shipped to California.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think a lesson learned for me next time, I'll probably oversize the whole slot. Slotting steel would be I don't have a domino for if we go down two more slides there. So what I did is they're all, in case anybody doesn't know what threaded inserts are, that's just around all sorts of different sizes from 3/8 down to number 6 screws. For this was pretty hard wood, and trying to get them in there, wax it up. Make certain you drill this hole big enough, deep enough for whatever fastener you're going to use. But if you use wax, it really helps. And to drive them in, just go to the next one. What I end up doing is I didn't buy the fancy little driver that you can get from whoever sells the inserts. I just take a bolt, cut off the head, put 2 nuts, lock them against each other, throw them in. And then it is nice to try and get them in perpendicular to the work surface. And especially if, you know, if you got a big area that you're going to work on, you can't muscle it over to your drill front. So I just use one of these hand little drill press things, chuck it up, and then put a ratchet in this handle and work it in gently. And in hard wood, go really gentle because we're not the hardest things in the world. We're not, you can, I think you can get a lot of steel, but not a little tear out. You gotta feel it.
And the size of the hole is critical.
Yeah, right.
And there's a guide,
Yeah, there is.
and it's really specific, like do a 64th of an inch
Right.
depending on the wood.
I just wrote this, which uses
Thread inserts.
threaded inserts, and they're lovely.
Yeah, they're great.
Absolutely lovely.
One thing I've done, not things like this, I've tapped it.
Yeah.
Never really, I mean, it's like a metal tap.
Yeah, your game, have a hard.
Yeah, and hold.
But I'm hoping never to see that. Well,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna see that table in the photo setting, I hope to never see it in the work setting. And that's because the other reason to do this is that it's a heck of a lot easier to move that thing around with the light bulb.
Yeah.
Move them upstairs, move them around, and this is, you know, spin those things out, take it apart, put it back together.
Oh, yeah.
So it's,
The difference happening is if you want, if you think the part many times, you do it part, then you really want to have a thread insert. If you're going to do it one time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It would work.
Well, and like a nice tap head bolt through a piece of metal into a thread insert. It's a really clean though. It looks really professional. There you go.
right, so I really like these button head flange.
Yeah.
Allen ribbon, and not some hex that
Right.
thing in there. You're next one.
The next one. Oh yeah.
I think to touch on it, you gotta drill the appropriate size hole. Make certain, figure out which fastener you're gonna use and actually put through there. Because if you put it in there and it's not deep enough, that's fun trying to get that thing out of the target. Use wax for hardwoods. Run the insert in the proper orientation. So there's a slot in the top, and there's a YouTube video that tells you, oh, you gotta put the slot down because it helps in the cutting. So slots in the top, because someday you might have to take it out. It's a heck of a lot easier to have the slot rather than have to cut your own.
Well, it seems you have trouble putting it in there.
Well, you
Well,
can
not
put,
with the bolts.
you can put it in, you can put it in with,
No, I mean setting
you can put it
the
in,
insert.
with the bolt and the double nut, you don't need a slot.
Yeah.
What else here? Some people advertise using a I don't
Side-
know why.
I did once. I used a thick CA glue because I was nervous about the thread insert. It turned out to be a huge mistake. Because one, you'll never get it back out. And two, if the glue is still wet, when you go to thread something in, then you'll never get that out.
You just put on red block though.
Yeah, you don't really, they're so tight if you get them right.
So, you know, I was very, very pleased with the way that particular table worked out in this interface. And I was worried about, you know, what size, should I use 1/4 or 5/16, go big or go home, 5/16. Those things are rock solid, and I'm not afraid, and because it's, you know, you gotta think about the side loads, some kids running around and dumping that table, falling in that table, and worry about the side load, freaking out, but those things aren't.
They're almost impossible to put in without wax.
I
They're
found it,
really hard to put in unless you do
that's been my experience.
beeswax. That's what I use. Or candle. Yeah, an old candle or. Yeah, bar soap works.
I'll follow Jared, whichever one is.
There you go.
Normally I have a bar of soap, cause I keep it in with the next.
Sure.
A box.
And whatever you clamping down, you're not putting any load on the thread of the wood. You're clamping,
Right.
casting to it against the head of the insert. So the threads in the wood have got no stress whatsoever.
It's not trying to yank it out.
No, it's not trying to hold that.
That's not necessarily true.
Right.
Well,
It's a-
no, no,
yeah, it's intentional.
Then you're ripping.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, if you keep it a little proud.
Or flush, make sure it's flush, and then when you tighten it, you're just.
Well, that's what that bolt with the washer on it
Right.
keeps you perfectly flush. If you drive it down and the washer's not going to be able to drive it.
I'm saying, like, the plant, if the metal is put down on top of it. You put your bolt, what you're doing is all your tension is going out. You insert the metal you put on there, the bolt, the wood stands out.
One last thing on these inserts, in that you can get them different lengths, and then that little thing that I put together, you can get short one, long one, probably longer one. The next piece is the concept of using 80/20 in conjunction with wood. This is an example of a cabinet with drawers and a bunch of 1-inch 80/20. And what you turn out to be, you use these grooves to actually capture the panel. And go to the next one. Well, what this is happenstance. So this is 5mm underfloor layman. You get a people and that's happens to be the right size. And then, or you can get multi, which quarter or, you know,
6 mil.
yeah, and then that fits nice. And so this is another example of, this 80/20 we were talking about it earlier. I'll echo Jared, the first time, I was buying a bunch of 80/20, and then I went to the scrapyard.
Yeah, well, but someone in our club mentioned that at one point, and I went to the Haggerty Metal.
And anytime I'm driving past there, I stop and ask them, you got any 20 like material? You can always use it to level things, sticky things out, whatever.
Okay, what happens is, it's like, you know, plans by this, or like build safety cases around, you know, stuff like that, and then they change the machine, and they rip it out, and they just throw it away, they throw it to the recycling, because, you know, they wanna buy it, you wanna put shop, so they can cut it, whatever length they want. Now they got a whole bunch of things for the shop, go in there.
So 80/20,
Scrap price.
Oh, they charge a different rate for
Yeah,
buying it
yeah.
out there.
For buying it there, you know, scrap, whatever.
Yeah, it's a low price,
It's a per
yeah,
pound.
it's like 30%, 40% more.
I don't know, I picked up some metric size that was 60. 6 foot long, 2 inch, whatever.
Which
Um,
is cheap, because it was expensive.
So you can think of the square, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, you can get the double profile, they go triple profile. And the other thing with, I don't know, what passed around, you can get 4 sides open, 3 sides open, 4 sides open. The other thing about 80/20 is you can craft side, right? That one's capped at a quarter, the 1 inch you can cap at a quarter 20.
So do you always get 1 inch?
No, the thing is, and, that's digression from digression. If you want to tap that end, I would recommend, you have a lot of it. I would recommend buying the 20 brand and not the T-Nuts brand. Because the way these are cast, these are really easy. They can cast these really quickly. But the T-Nuts, the way this is formed in the middle, the way it's treated, is a little bit tougher. And you're tapping that's end on the T-Nuts variant of this extrusion is the raw brand is problematic.
When I order from T-Nuts, I always have them drill it, cut the length of the tap.
Well, then that's an
That is perfect.
if you're gonna be tapping it yourself, I do it, but it's a whole lot more pleasant if I'm using the line variant.
Pre-drill?
Hmm?
Pre-drill, the other thing about.
No, it's, well, it comes, it's already open. You just run a tap.
I just want to put the right diameter.
Yeah, it's fine. And, well, here's the other profile, they come flat. Not necessarily square or rectangular.
Think about buying, food, like that, Integrity or even Alro. If you buy it on, say you wanted to buy it right from AC20, quite honestly, anything that here with the length is expensive to hell, yeah. Because of the length.
Like, just either.
No, even 4 foot. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to ship it.
Mileage would vary. But, yeah, if you wanna, so you can get 10 footers, you can get longer ones, but then the shipping cost is higher. So cutting 80, this stuff on your chop saw is no problem. Makes a heck of a mess. And if you're doing it when you're hot and sweaty, then you'll be all glittery. You go dancing that night. And once you have a couple pieces hanging around, it's amazing. You go, wow, I could have used that. So for example, the 1.5, it fits right on the side of an MFT table, hooks right into the description of the MFT table. And that's it for my little notes on the 80/20. It's fun to use and, pretty solid.
Have you ever incorporated the MacBook?
Right here.
No, the chair. Oh, the chair, I'm sorry.
Well, here's the sort of chair that's on casters, and then this is there. But,
Right, sorry.
The flying site, they've got to, so. Let me finish this. So fasteners, we talked about inserts. So in that particular table, we had 1.5 inches, so pretty deep, one insert in there. Well, if you have a insert that you want to secure some sort of metal fastener to it, the other side we're going is using T-nuts. And here, this is different size T-nuts. And the way I like to do that, I'll pass this around, is I end up drilling. So let's say this is the surface that I want to really secure something to the bottom of, but I can't secure this, right? Doesn't have me. So I take something that I'm going to glue to here. I drill an 1/8 inch hole. I run this deep enough so it's not flush, and then run the appropriate size hole. Goes third step, and then sink with 2 more in here, and then glue it on here. And now I've got it back. But the reason I run that 1/4 or 1/8 inch screw in first is so I can center that works with it.
Yeah.
So it cleans it out.
There's other, another type of nut that's probably useful for both of those nuts. They are nuts that have the adhesive on them. We put it on just about anything. And then we're good to go. The downside to anything like that, the one's in a hidden spot, if they ever break loose, like if the wood gives out, then you kind of.
Well, what I like about the T-nuts is that they're not gonna spin. Yeah. And if there's a failure, there's some big hit that's sat on it inadvertently.
I've had peanuts spin, I got a pretty significant from a neighbor. And when I went to put in the nut or the bolt, I had to replace all the peanuts because they were all rusted out. I had to fix all the bolts. They were all rusted out, but it was pretty intense for others. Yeah. But I got the peanuts I got, they were stainless steel. I used galvanized bolts, made of gold. I don't know if they're made. Never seen one spot. It was a real nightmare.
So I'd offer up, if you have questions about 80-20 or T-nuts or combination of how you join that stuff together, just give me a shout. I got plenty of different pieces and all sorts of fasteners. And once you get addicted to it, you start going, oh, they can get here. That's a lot of places. And the other thing, the surface finish issue on whether it's, what metal you're using. If you ever get anybody pulling out a specification on what the finish they want on those legs, be very leery of quoting the job. And the welds also, it's welding, yes, you can get a base to hang together, but to meet an interior decorator spec of weld, it's different than stainless or aluminum. It's a lot of fun, and you do it, but it's different. Anyway, you thought, on the expanding, aluminum? Right. I'm never gonna do it. Right, but it sparked this idea. With flag, have a steel band around, hold it together, and just put on it on, right? Put it around there and that's a technique you can probably do. What you're shrinking is you got to move and then put it on.
Shrink up.
Yeah. We're gonna use it like that.
I don't need it. That rubber cement. Barrels need it.
I think the narrow spacing coefficient between the two of these.
Yeah, I think my easier solution is unlimited.
I wasn't saying that.
Solves the
I
problem.
wasn't saying to do it for that application, but I was saying that further, if I use that for some sort of.
Yeah.
Or get a different way.
Well, although on a wagon wheel, that is a
I don't
circular
think these things
piece
are
that's gonna drag it. On something that he was doing, that might not work so well.
If you get it hot enough, the bottom, I can put it back on. It's a press, it'll burn it, and it's a press fit. It'll come in, it'll put it up.
Nice.
It'll slap that
Jared's
in.
always hoping.
Always thinking.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Great.
Yeah, that's good. The guys, they're gonna shut the lights off or whatever.
I've got one other.
They're going off the